Happy birthday. Today is my birthday, but Corona doesn't allow us any get-togethers, no parties, so I'm isolated. But despite Corona, I want to celebrate. I thought for a long time about who I would invite here to my studio. I will invite my art teachers, my artistic family. They know everything about me, what I do, what I think, and what I am. I am a product of my teachers. They didn't die. They're immortal. And they're immune to Corona. I speak to my teachers. I ask questions, but I don't get any answers. Every day I feel an inner pressure, a sense of duty to be a good student and to hold my teacher's artistic qualities high against mediocrity, like a monk holding his cross against the devil. What would I be without my art teachers? Without Leonardo? Without Botticelli? Without Dürer? Without Rembrandt? Without... I searched for my teachers all by myself. I found them, and I believe they were the most important people in my life, and remain so until today. I found the addresses of all my art teachers and sent them invitations. It's a long journey. Jan Vermeer comes from Delft. Pablo Picasso from Barcelona. Albrecht Dürer from Nuremberg. Rembrandt from Amsterdam. Andy Warhol from New York. Sandro Botticelli from Florence. Claude Monet from Paris. Leonardo da Vinci from Rome. Vincent van Gogh from the Netherlands. FRIDA KAHLO from Mexico City. Joseph Beuys from the Rhineland, and Salvador DALI from Catalonia. Jan Vermeer, the most beautiful painting in the whole sky of art is Girl with a Pearl Earring. In this picture, you just sense peace, silence, and arid timelessness. I learnt from Vermeer that you don't need to be loud to be understood. And something else. The deed is everything, not the fame. My studio is perfect for a life with Mother Nature. No matter what happens in this world, it arrives here 2 years later. An ideal place for Vermeer. I'm sure he will stay here for a few days, if he comes. He has everything he needs. Peace, silence, distance from society, and contact to the universe. Who knows? He might even paint a picture. There's plenty of paint and lots of canvases. And even 2 pearl earrings. You never know. Sandro Botticelli. From Botticelli I learned that painting is a queen who one must serve because she needs to be pampered. I was immediately willing to do so, to cultivate, to support, and to spoil her. Botticelli's world was mine, innocent, pure, unspoiled, unblemished, and heavenly. I wanted to float between heaven and earth, like his angels. If Botticelli comes, I'll ask him, Maestro, how do you paint those heavenly, royal blue skies? I already know the answer, but it'll be a great delight to hear it again, personally, from the great master. He would say, heavenly royal blue skies must be painted while kneeling and in great humbleness and fear of the Lord. By doing this, the colour itself is irrelevant. I can't wait to hear this once again. Pablo Picasso. He has the eyes of a seal, and when I look into his eyes, I know what he's thinking. His eyes say, "Art is a game. Don't take it too seriously." He suffered from a syndrome, the Picasso syndrome. He felt that he didn't have enough paintings, so he painted and painted and painted. Yes, with women it was the same. His animalistic desires crave women, more and more women. Officially, he had 8, but unofficially, 52. And that makes me envious. All 8 women who live with Picasso wrote a book called My Life with Picasso. Not a single good word about Picasso the bull. Strange. I've learned a lot from Picasso, but I'm not sure exactly what. For me, painting is difficult, and women even more so. Claude Monet. He was a great French artist and the discoverer of Impressionism. Except that's not really true. Monet was simply short-sighted. He could never see clearly, and that's why everything he painted looked fuzzy. As he grew older, it got so bad that all his paintings were cloudy. Et voilà, Impressionism was born. Monet was too vain to wear glasses, and that's precisely what changed the history of art. If this truth were ever to be made public, the whole history of art would have to be rewritten. My mother is in love with Impressionism. What should I tell her about Monet? So I say nothing and remain silent. Otherwise, I might get into trouble with my mother. Andy Warhol. Do you have to wear a white wig to become famous? Or just be in the right place at the right time? I always wore the wrong suit to the wrong cafe, and it never worked out. Warhol is a genius. I wonder how you can earn so much money with a can of tomato soup. I can buy all kinds of canned soup at Aldi. Every time I prepare a can of tomato soup, I have to think of Warhol. It's a strange feeling. I pay €2 for the soup. Warhol earned 2 million with it. I'm a tiny bit jealous. But the whole story has something nice and positive about it. The soup tastes quite good, and if Warhol comes, he'll get a can of tomato soup. Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo was born on April 15th. Me too. He is my great-great-great-grandfather. I was thrilled when Leonardo released the dove from its cage and set it free to fly and gave it its freedom. I feel like a dove set free by his hands to learn to hover. But there is a problem. I'm not sure if I'm a dove, an eagle, or a little sparrow. I was 30 years old when I saw the Mona Lisa in the Louvre for the first time. I looked at the painting for a long time. My knees trembled. My heart jumped, thudded, raced. My great-great-great-grandfather's hands had painted this picture. So I immediately accepted Mona Lisa as my great-grandmother. My great-great-great-grandfather's words are always in my mind. Spread your wings, my boy, and jump. That's the only way you'll learn to fly. Salvador Dali. Dali once said, "You're not crazy enough. That won't work." He lived in timelessness, far away from real life, which is why he painted so many soft clocks. Compared to Gala, his wife, he was a soft clock. She had many love affairs, and he understood that very well. Gala was his fortune, his muse, his lover, mother, and demon, simply everything a man needs. Dali once wrote, "I thank Gala for hunting the demons in my mind and strengthening the lion in my heart." In his last years, he suffered from Parkinson's. His hands trembled, but when he picked up a brush, there was no more trembling. He could draw the finest, most elegant lines. I'm sure his last painting was of Gala. Vincent van Gogh. Vincent's letters to his brother Theo, an art dealer in Paris. Have you read any of them? I've read them very often, and whenever I read these letters, my heart weeps. Van Gogh writes, "Dear brother, I have no money for food, no money for paint." Or, "Dear Theo, have you sold a painting? Send me 100 francs. He wrote thousands of letters like this. Sometimes I think, I have a large studio, a fully fueled car is parked outside. I sold a picture last week, and I'll sell another next week. I have enough money for 3 months. What luxury! I'm starting to feel guilty." The story about his cut-off ear is terrible. Vincent came to my studio. He was wearing his ear on a piece of string around his neck. He drank absinthe. I drank red wine. The next day I noticed he had forgotten his ear, so I hung it on the wall. After a while, I noticed the ear was shrinking, always getting smaller and smaller. When I read about one of Van Gogh's paintings being sold for $1 million, the ear shrank. At 100 million, the ear shrunk even more, until it was as small as the nail on my little finger. Sometimes I wear his ear as a good luck charm. Albrecht Dürer. Why does someone paint himself? Why a self-portrait? Why? Because there's only one thing we all want, to be immortal. I can imagine how the 13-year-old Dürer, a wunderkind, how he looked at his first self-portrait, surprised and modestly proud of his own genius. The first self-portrait in Northern Europe. This small self-portrait is painted without frills, quite simply, but with a European feel, the worldly aura and a high artistic quality, and with pride. Genius can't be learnt. It can only be enjoyed enthusiastically. Rembrandt van Rijn. He was the great interpreter of biblical Christianity. Humble awe is a Christian privilege of the human soul. Work of a genius, his painting Bathsheba in the Louvre in Paris, the summit of painted art, beyond comparison. His model was his lover, Henrika. Such realistic honesty, painted without compromise or mercy. Her body's not beautiful. He painted her, wrinkles and all, but with human dignity and artistic value. A contemplating naked body. A miracle. This was never to be repeated in all of art history. Every one of Rembrandt's paintings has its own light and its own secrets, something very few artists are capable of. None of my teachers were so tuned to live in reverence to God. I understood all that. Maybe I'll reach it in my second life. Frida Kahlo. Frida was a German girl. Her father came from Baden-Baden. Her long journey around the world ended in a sickbed in Mexico, where she also painted lying down. 14 operations, leg amputated. A special easel was attached to her bed, enabling her to paint while lying on her back. That was a great ordeal for Frida. But God only puts those to the test whom He loves. During her last years, she needed only 2 things: a waiter and a priest, the same as I do. I always wanted to ask Frida, but I can already read the answer in her crying eyes. You need to suffer more. What am I supposed to make of that? Joseph Beuys. He spoke way too much and painted too little. A player and juggler of words. When Beuys creates a sculpture made of butter, it melts quickly, like his words, over time. When a young person dreams of becoming an artist, he must first cut out his tongue. Art is an international language and needs no translators. Who wants to read this intellectual ballast? Not me. I dream of being able to live in the future without this verbal tsunami and concentrate on senseful things. Hello? Who's there? Oh, Claudia. Nice to hear from you. How are you? Yes, everything's fine here. Thank you, that's right. Yes, it's my birthday today. Yes, I invited 12 people. No, not friends or relatives. I invited my art teachers. Yeah, they're all very old. Leonardo is 567 years old. He's the oldest. Rembrandt is 418. Warhol's the youngest. He's just 91. Yes, I know, but they've accompanied me my whole life. They were always in my studio and in my thoughts. They always supported me. It's not easy to live with so many and such strong instructors. But I've understood something very important. They can't grow anymore, but I can. Claudia, wait. Did you hear that? The doorbell rang. Unbelievable. It's nearly 12 o'clock. Maybe it's my first guest. Claudia, did you hear that? It rings again. My heart jumps. My hands are shaking. This is a very special moment in my life. Oh my God, who's coming now? Who could it be?
It's me, Claudia. Hello. Happy birthday.